Okay, there's one Facebook, two Facebook, three Facebook. I'm waiting on YouTube. This is gonna be a great show. Hang on, there's Morgan. Where are you? Maybe that we're on. Okay. All right. Let's see. Move that. Okay, we're on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. Todd's running on slow motion. Okay, so here we go. Let's so we got Terry Willette's in today. Terry and I have been friends. She's been a supporter of Soulgy, I think since I know since at least 2016. And she's been on an open mic, and she's a very cool lady, beautiful sister. So we're gonna have her on in just a second. Let me put on the intro so we can allow people time to come in, and I can share it through the network. I'll be right back. Hang on. So we're having some difficulties today. Yesterday was a huge day. I was up till 1 o'clock in the morning. Morgan couldn't keep her hands off me. I don't know what's up with that. So welcome everybody. We have a special show. We have a special show today with Terry Willette. And so let me get her up here. All right. Beautiful sister. All right. These shows resonate. Please share. Wait a minute. Unmute. Are you muted? Okay. Hang on. I got it. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you. What's up, beautiful? What's happening?
How are you? Yeah.
I'm totally I'm off planet, off universe.
Yes.
I'm effed. I don't know. I can barely even. Huh?
These energies are unbelievable.
Yeah.
With everything happening, I'm just trying to get situated here. Yes.
Good. You're good.
So, am I all right? Yes. Okay. So, I told you about facing my fear and all of that. Yeah. And I just, I was thinking, because last fall or late, I think it was November, Morgan had asked me to come on, and I just, I got excited about it and wanted to do it. And then some things happened with my dad, and I had to take care of certain things. And it just wasn't, I guess it's all divine timing is what it is.
Absolutely.
And even though there's still stuff going on, Dad's back in rehab, he broke his hip and all that. And but that's, I have to, I have to take care of me so I can take care of,
Absolutely. To thine own self be true.
Right? Yes, exactly. And today I was thinking, I was a little, that is in my stomach. And I said, no, Terry, the work that I do, or my soul work that I do, is that I want to empower people to their own magnificent selves. And I must do the same for myself. Yeah. And I've asked for more. And I'll tell you, it's coming in so fast. It's just, time is just so crazy right now anyway. But the other day I was thinking about a friend that I did a session on who lives overseas. And he said that at some point, maybe his partner would like to have a session. So I just was thinking about him, and I said, and thinking about that. And that was, I don't know, the other night anyway, about a week ago. And that morning I woke up and there was a message on Messenger. He was asking me if we could video chat. I went, holy moly.
You can't make this stuff up, man.
No, you cannot.
And
telepathy.
yeah, you can't. Well,
No.
I just want to point this out to everybody first, because I didn't even know this. I knew some of this. So you are a QHHT practitioner, level 1. You're
beyond quantum healing.
Yeah,
also.
I'm just going down the list here. You're dimensional Reiki practitioner, Usui Reiki healer, master practitioner, beyond quantum healing, psychic medium, channeler, light language singing, intuitive, and healing membership, psychic readings. I mean, it goes on and on. And so my point is that A, that's what part of what you do, and B, there's a lot of women, particularly women around the world, just like you, that aren't out, like I'm out, like other people, like, putting it out there in that way. Yeah. And that represents a lot of power. To me, that represents a lot of power that this world hasn't been introduced to. And I think it's coming. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think you think it's,
I think we're being pushed. Actually, we're getting what we asked for. It's something that I think so many of us have wanted, but have had that fear of, I don't know what. It's just silliness. A lot of it is, I know that, I don't know. It's just, I've been pushed. I'm being pushed, and I'm doing the pushing. Yeah. So.
Somebody's doing the pushing.
Yeah, I know. They're pushing hard.
So, I got to tell you, so like, this is all, I mean, how do you even talk about this anymore? It doesn't even make any sense. Oh my God, it's been a powerful past few days. I was talking to Morgan yesterday. I'm like, no, it's like, it just never stops now. No. And, but there, something I've noticed since we've been here. So the months of March and April, it happened. And I believe actually it happened in February. Now that I think about it, we just weren't in this location, which we're here till the end of the month. And because I remember talking to Morgan saying, have you ever noticed when we elevate, then we kind of crash, and there's like this, okay. But what I noticed in February, March, and April was that around the first week of the month, if Morgan and I were going to have alone time, that's usually when it happened. And I started thinking, hey, we know the energy's coming in. Maybe we need to say something, which like this month we didn't, but the huge wave came in and kind of culminated yesterday.
Yes.
And so I just want to set it up like this. I don't really reach out to anyone. I mean, I live with an incredible energy practitioner. Yeah. So, and I've got my own intel, link. But I was like, yesterday I sent Franco a note.
Yes.
And I was like, Franco, why is there such a pull to this mission? It's just what you were saying. That's what brought it up. I said, am I just feeling the alignment here and further coming? I feel like there's a message trying to come through, and I'm not quite clear what it is. And I won't read you his whole thing, but he sent me a note this morning, and he says, let's see, we are in a pinnacle time, and so much is happening in a big way, in a compressed time frame. It's been quite a ride, and continues to accelerate. And then he goes on down here and he says, this is the reason we are feeling the push. So we are, as a collective, committed to a shift and upgrade our experience. However, not many in comparison to the masses are ready to take an active role. And then he says, this is the reason we were feeling the push and pull to do what we were doing and to remain crystal clear with what we are here to do, supporting each other along the way. And he talks about these energies, this pulse that was the 4th and the 5th. So that would have been through yesterday. But when you said that, it reminded me of it. you're feeling like you're being pushed.
I am.
You're feeling like the time has come, almost like we don't have a choice now, right?
Right, right. Well, ever since I had experienced that near-death experience in 2014,
Mm-hmm.
and that really, I mean, as a child, I would see things and know things. And I actually had a little place out back of the house where I called it my fairy butterfly land. And I remember interacting with real fairies. They were real. And my great grandmother lived with us, and I'd go in and I told her about playing with the fairies and seeing different beings. Because now I remember, I believe that some of my star beings were interacting with me also then.
Yeah.
And this is huge for me to come out and say, but anyway, it's time. It's, I'm just being pushed. So she'd say, well, that's okay. And she didn't say that I was crazy or not to talk about it,
Yeah.
but you know, so anyway, yeah. But then through my life, the big wake up call for me was after I had the near death experience in 2014.
Yeah.
And I remember it's all story before that, like you said, we all have chosen, I think, difficult lives in certain ways, so we can have either the lessons or the opportunity to help someone else.
Yeah.
And that's really big with me lately. I want to really be of service in any way that I possibly
Yeah.
can. And it's just like you said, it's just that big push. And Franco, oh, I am so grateful for Franco and Kimberly.
Mm-hmm.
I've done several workshops. It's just total remembering. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, where did that? Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that. That makes sense. Nothing sounds out there. It's like, and even the bigger and the more information, it seems bigger to me coming in. It's like, wow, yes, it's connecting dots.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what we're all doing. I don't think we're looking for a savior because we're our
No.
own savior.
Yeah.
I think that we're helping each other. Like I always say, we're like stepping stones back to our own magnificent selves. We're
Yeah.
helping each other as we're all connected anyway.
Yeah. It's trippy because this is all happening, and I totally get what you're saying. But it's trippy because it's all happening at the same time this cartoon's going on. I mean, because it's getting cartoonish, some
Yeah,
of the stuff that's going on. It's just absolutely,
yeah.
it's absolutely cartoonish. And so it's like at the same time we're going online for several months, toward the end of last year, first part of this year, Morgan said, it's May. Like, I'm not saying that it's May or that she's saying it's May, but she kept saying, I'm feeling May. Now, May has always been, the second half of May has been, since 2009, the biggest 2 week period of my year, every year.
Mm-hmm,
And the
mm-hmm,
first few years, it was severe traumas. And then later, it's gotten better every year, right?
mm-hmm.
So I don't know. And then, of course, Franco forecasted, even from the end of last year, that June would be like a new world. So I don't
Ready.
know.
I'm ready.
I know. I
I'll do
mean
my
it,
part. I'll do my
but
part.
you know what? I think that's what I think the new world goes hand in hand with us, this group, the people that watch these shows and the people who are on these shows and shows like this that are going to be put to work, and that goes hand in hand with it. It's not going to happen unless we do it, I guess.
Right.
But I think we're all going to do it. I really do. I think we're already doing it. I think we've done a
Mm-hmm.
lot more than we've ever thought and given ourselves credit for. And I think it's time to come out, like you
Yeah.
said.
Yes, it's time.
So I didn't know you were into QHHT and BQHT, right? Did I say it right?
Beyond
Um,
BQ, beyond quantum healing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's hypnosis. Yeah.
yeah, I'm familiar with it. Yeah, I mean, so do you get that same type of collective intel from your clients like Allison Coe and Dolores Cannon did? Where they?
I have gotten, if I've gotten a few times, yes, I have
Mm,
a few times, but basically it's more of the healing. I think that, and lately instead of even going, I say past lives but everything is now anyway. I think that I even had a few clients not looking back and thinking that they even had a future life, that they were experiencing a future lifetime. But what I find is they see, or what takes place is what their higher self directs.
Yeah.
And what they need for healing. And sometimes it's past life traumas, responsibilities. The amazing things, it amazes me. And I am so honored to facilitate these sessions, because it's like, it's miraculous is what it is. It's miraculous. And the shifts in people that I've seen, and they're doing it all themselves. I'm just the witness. I can direct a little tiny bit, but they're doing it. They're doing it.
So in general, I'm just curious, because I've never had anyone actually talk about it on the show, but and of course everyone's heard of it. And now this BQH.
Yeah.
So do you take the client to a certain relaxed state?
Yes.
And then suggest, or through the power of suggestion or direction, take them to a certain place from there, and then the higher self takes over, or how does it work?
No, what I do, and this is changing all the time. God bless Dolores Cannon. When I first started doing this, I asked her to come in my first session, and I said, Dolores, would you please come in? And she said, I'm here. She was very, very frank. I'm here. The second session, I says, Dolores, please come in. Help me to ask the best questions I can ask for the highest and best for the client. I'm here. The third session, I says, Dolores, she says, I'm here, dear. And she calls me dear now. And
do you think, since I never got it, SOULSPEAKS 5D was already, like born after she transitioned.
Yeah.
I wonder, so, and you're a channeler and you're a medium. Okay. Yes. And I know a lot of these terms are used pretty loosely today, but I know you're an old school medium. Like, I know that about you. Can we do some type of connection? We've never really done this before, but because I know, like, when I woke up 9 years ago, it was disincarnated souls coming to me. Like a lot of them were kids or teenagers that had died, contact the parent, and there was a lot of that stuff going on. But so for you to have that kind of mediumship background, then going to QHHT, I would imagine you have some pretty powerful connections.
We're
able to connect. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And I just wanted to address that first question, though. I don't suggest anything. What I do is I do the induction to put the client in a very relaxed state.
Yeah.
It's a long process doing the sessions, and a lot of the stuff that I'm doing is a combination of QHHT, BQH, and stuff that I'm getting downloaded.
So you've kind of modified it to your own. Okay.
Yeah.
So we couldn't. So there's no way we could do anything like that on here. It takes a long time. It takes
because the thing is that I can't. When someone wants a session, it's always arranged by the higher selves. And I asked one person's higher self one time, because this woman actually got my full name in a meditation.
Wow.
And she was like an acquaintance of someone that an acquaintance. I didn't. Right. And she said that she was doing a meditation. She wanted some clarity on something. And she said, my name, Terry Willette, came in. I says, my full name? And she says, yes. So she contacted, and we did a beautiful session. She got the clarity she needed.
Yeah.
But the sessions comprise of many parts. A person is with me between very least 3.5 hours.
Holy shiitake mushrooms, man. That's a long time. I don't know if I could. I got cosmic HDAD or whatever you call that.
Well, ADHD. No, because it's just a whole healing modality. You do the interview with the client. First, I asked you to write a whole bunch of questions down that you'd like to ask your higher self, or I say higher self. There's no higher or lower, but those words. So
And that's what I meant by
Mhm.
suggestion. I didn't mean like suggest. I just meant like you
Yeah.
take them to a relaxed state, and then you through your words say, okay, we're going to go here,
And
or you know,
nope,
and
they
then
tell me where they are.
oh, they tell
They
you.
tell me where they are.
Oh
I
wow,
do the induction. First,
yeah,
we have the interview and we go over the
yeah,
questions.
yeah,
And then I do like a water with the VQH. We do the water blessing and
mm,
intention for the session. That's usually the first thing. And then I do the induction. And the induction is just putting them in a complete relaxed
yeah,
state.
yeah,
Uh, we talk a lot way before that even
yeah.
happens. Um, and because a lot of times during the interview, I'll say, "Oh, did you ask that for a question?" And they'll say, "No, but boy, that's really something I'd like to know about." So these
So
things come up.
so
Mhm.
during the session, are they conscious? Are they in like a medium state? You know, are they?
Only once I do the induction, but it's usually once we go in the room that we do it, and they're
Okay.
sitting and I'm sitting in a chair.
Yeah.
It just
And
there's like
so,
an energy that I can't describe comes in, and it's
yeah,
like okay, and then we do but once I have them lay in the bed
yeah,
and I'm going to start the induction.
okay,
That's when everything just comes and they close their eyes
yeah.
and I do all the induction. And then at the end of it, where they tell, "Where are you?" I'll say, "Where are you?" And I've had people, it's like coming off the cloud, it's for
Mm-hmm.
an example. And I've had people say, I had one woman, these things just never cease to amaze me. I had one woman say, she says, "I'm flying over the ocean." And I said,
Mm,
"Oh, okay." I said, "Would you please look down at your feet?" She says, "I have talons. I'm a sea eagle." I went, "Oh, okay." So we went with that. And
that's
then,
cool.
yeah, and then I've had people after the induction, I'll say, "Where are you?" Describe, I don't say where I say, describe what you're experiencing. And the more someone lets go, uh, it's amazing the information that comes through. And I had one person said, "I'm on a ship," and I said, "Okay." I said, and I was thinking ocean. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of times I will get visuals when they're telling me things. I'm seeing the same thing that they are. But this time I said, she said she was in a ship. And I said, "Okay." And I asked her to look at her feet and different things. And she said, "I have boots on." And I said, "Do you feel male or female?" And she said, I think she was male. She said male. And I said, "Look at your hands, please." And she said, "I have three long fingers." And I said,
Mm,
"Very good." I figured, she was in space. And
wow.
what does your face look like? And she described her face. And then she was like very, all of a sudden, some anxiety came in. I says, "What's happening?" And she
Mm,
says, "I am a scout. We're looking for another planet to move our people on because our planet's getting ready to blow up. It's heating up."
wow.
And wow, I mean, you
So
can't,
how do they so they come in, they have a list of questions which probably pertains to their present and for
yeah.
future whatever. How does how do these whatever you call them, bilocating experiences, how do they or do they assist in answering the questions? Do they ask their other aspect, like what do I do, or is there some kind of connection between that bilocation connection and any other questions?
Okay. Well, what happens is once they're hypnotized, and I can
Mhm.
tell when the monkey mind wants to try to get in there too. I can always tell that. That's why I always ask people, put your conscious mind in the back seat, let your higher out, just let yourself go. Tell me what you see. They're talking to me the whole time. We're communicating,
the
even
people
through
the patient's talking to you, okay.
the client. Yeah.
Now,
The,
do you
yeah.
ever get like, because I know like on the show, I'm about to check yours out in a minute, but I know like on the, wow, what is that? Well, I shouldn't be joking around. Like the team isn't taking any. I was joking with them last night. I probably should stop. No, but I do you ever get like their higher self starts talking to you or
Oh,
other
yeah.
aspects?
Oh, is that? Yes. At a
Okay.
certain point, once we've gone through, sometimes people just go into this lifetime. It depends on what they need. And then at a certain point within the session, I asked to speak to the higher self. And I've always been able to connect. And I said, may I have permission to speak to your higher self? And usually, yes, very different. It's them talking the whole time because they're the higher self. But then I say, thank you. I respect the higher self. Do I have permission to ask questions? And yes, always yes. We do body scans. I have the higher.
Okay, so you're now talking to the higher self, and this is where you would start to connect to some of the questions that they might have had in the okay, and then you do, like, body scan. Do you have any implants? Yeah, or do you want an activation, that type of stuff?
What I'll do is I'll ask the higher self. One of the first things I'll ask is, why did you show, like, for instance, why did that woman that had the experience as a scout looking for another planet, we went through that lifetime and she wasn't able to save everyone from that planet. She even had help from other star systems helping them to relocate their people. But she just started crying at one point. That's what happened, and the planet blew up.
Yeah.
So the reason I
sounds like a familiar story.
Yeah,
we've been there.
Go ahead. I says, why did you show her that lifetime? And it was because she carried in that guilt and responsibility in this lifetime that she was not. I mean, that's a big response. She was trying to save the whole.
Now, what about now and what about, let's go old school. So because these words get thrown around loosely. I know what a medium is, and I'm pretty sure I know what a channel is, but then people say I'm this type of channeler or that type of channeler, and I'm like, oh, you know. I changed. That's when I changed the channel. No, I'm kidding.
Right.
But so what's the difference between mediumship and channeling, and which one did you do first, and how did they both start?
Well, mediumship is speaking to people who are no longer in their bodies.
Okay, disincarnated. Okay, so that's
my husband. The day after my husband transitioned, and he did not call it dying or anything.
Oh, after he physically, then he came in
here at. I mean, I had heard, I was able to communicate things, but with him, he's standing right here, by the way.
Is he really? What's his name? What's his name?
David.
Hello, David.
Yes. And anyway, the very next day, he came in and he said, I am a magnificent being. You were right all along.
Yeah.
And that was just so, and I heard him through, at one point, because he only was in the hospital bed for like late afternoon to the next mid-afternoon, but it was almost a struggle, constant struggle.
Yeah.
And my grown children were here, and the hospice nurse showed up and all that. And it was, he's saying, you don't have to go into detail. So anyway, it was hard. So I'm
picking up on him too. I heard the same thing.
That's a story.
Yeah, exactly. So what about channeling? What would you say channeling is for you?
For me, what I did after, I'm kind of getting discombobulated here, but
I'm sorry. That's probably my question.
No, it's not you. No, after let me just finish that thought for David, because I want to, after he, I was standing at the counter one day, and he comes in, boom, quick, right here, right in this right here. And he said, you have to tell everyone that was here the day that I was transitioning, that I was not suffering the way it looked. I was releasing energy from my physical body so I could release my spirit. And I went, oh my God, I got chills right now thinking about it. Yeah. And I said, thank you so much. Please tell the kids, and I did. And then, after, and he asked me to continue doing the QHHT and the VQH because he saw people, he'd be in his chair and I'd go upstairs with a client, and he says they'd look apprehensive. They'd come down. He says, Terry, I don't think they were even take on stepping down on the ground. They were like floating.
So
And
does he
grounded.
does he come around? Does he hang out with you often?
Anytime that I sometimes yeah, anytime that I
Does
think
he
it would.
ever like come into to the room when you're sleeping and try little Harioscamos?
No. Well,
I don't want to give him any ideas. I don't know what the situation or the rules of the road are there. Well, I
no,
had to
he,
throw that one out there. I mean, we are
yeah,
merging. The
yeah,
veils are lifted.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I'm falling back way back on my lifetimes as nuns. But anyway, no, he's here. Anytime we think of anyone that has transitioned
Yeah.
on that love thread, they're here immediately. It's
And
just, yeah, yeah.
and then the channeling, is the channeling for you channeling your higher self, channeling your other aspects, or channeling something you consider not an aspect of you, like say a
Yeah,
Magdalene or a Saint Germain?
yeah, yeah. When I did the channeling class, I I started channeling, and they asked who are you channeling, and they said they were love.
Mm.
I felt that they were me. Truly, I felt they were aspects of myself.
Yeah.
Because
That's a
yeah,
yeah, I think that's a
yeah,
significant comment
yeah, and
personally.
I think everything is us
Yeah.
really.
Yeah. That's what makes
And
it so weird.
yeah,
Like,
I wanted to tell you, share one thing with you though. Another thing,
yeah.
David asked me to continue doing the work. Oh, my cat. So anyway, he after he transitioned, a friend that I sat in development circle with, mediumship and psychic, we used to sit in circle. She called me and she said, Terry, can I have a session? David won't leave me alone. And I
Oh
said,
my
sure.
God.
So we did
So
a
was
session.
he, yeah.
Yeah.
Was he like real spiritual when he was on the surf? I mean, when he was incarnated?
At the end of his life,
Okay.
he was
Yeah.
very open to everything. My mother appeared to him the day she was transitioning in a hologram.
Hmm.
And I was at the hospital. My mom was transitioning, and he said that it was 2:15 when the hologram came, and he was very, he would never, he wasn't woo or anything. He was not on medications at that time that would alter his. I think the strongest med he was on no chemo meds, and he was on no pain meds at that point, just Tylenol. And when I came home, he said that my mother, it was at 2:15 and my mother transitioned at 2:22. And it was, she, at the very end of it, she opened this is the first time I've ever seen anybody that transitioned like that. She, at the very last nanosecond before her spirit left, she opened her eyes, and because she had been medicated, comfort care. And my sister was sitting right there, and I was above my sister, and Mom opened her eyes and closed her mouth and smiled, and we saw sparkles leave her eyes. My sister says, did you see those sparkles? And I said, I sure did. I get emotional. But my mother, about a few minutes before she transitioned, she came to David in a hologram. And she told him, she said, take care of my baby.
Yeah.
And
take care of my baby. I'm going to come back.
yeah, right. But David was so wonderful. But the another magnificent thing that happened is the second client I saw after David transitioned. She had a beautiful session. She got her answers to questions. We can even bring in new guides. I mean, we can work with non-physical surgeons. There's nothing that's impossible. Nothing is impossible.
It's almost. I mean, it sounds to me like it's the same type of energetic pattern of like reprogramming your DNA. Like when Morgan taught me about programming
Yeah.
your body, your DNA, your life, ultimately your field. So it's almost like what you're describing is you've got this huge infinite tool chest, right? That maybe is a little bit more easy to accept and digest because it's not all on you, right?
Right. Yeah.
And you just say, okay, this is what I want. This is And you're
if
being
it's
direct, and you're being directed by the client's higher self.
by the higher self, always, always.
Yeah,
And
very cool.
at the end of that session, I asked her higher self, I always ask, are we complete today?
Mm-hmm.
And her higher self said, it was funny because she wanted to know what her higher self's name was. And I asked them, and it's always usually a collective. And they said, I am.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, I said, are we complete today? And they said, are you complete today? And it was like, just she and I were in the room. And I said, do you have a message for me? And then they said, there's beautiful light coming in. And I could see off the side in that room, I could see lights coming in. And I said, it's David, isn't it? And they said, yes. And I said,
I'm telling you, man, he's wanting to go on a date.
Yeah, I asked him, I said, may I ask him questions? And they said, yes. And I have it recorded through this client. Wow. We talked for 15 minutes.
Now, so was the client doing the talking?
Yes.
Okay.
Always.
Okay. So I was just trying to figure out how that works.
But it was David's personality. It was his personality coming through. Yeah. They allowed that. And
no, I've seen that happen with people before, you know, like this friend of mine, this sister, back when I first left and got on the road, my grandmother jumped into her for like a day and a half. Yes. And it was weird because she was both. And I knew it was my grandmother because my grandmother came to me. She was the first one that came to me when I woke up. Mm-hmm. And I didn't believe her. And I was like, oh, you know, and then she called me Smarty Pants, which she was the only one that ever called me Smarty Pants. And I knew it was her. Evidence. Yeah. Yeah. But so whenever she jumped into my friend, I knew her right away. She talked with a Mexican accent. She was, you know, telling me all this stuff, and then ended up telling me this whole thing about, I don't know, it was like from Orion to Sirius to Kachina, what is it? The blue star Kachina to the Hopi. And she was telling me this has all been, you know, the path or our path or something like that. Beautiful. Yeah, that's amazing.
He gave, and I asked him, I says, David, I says, I hear you very clearly, don't I? And he says, you sure do. And the one cute little thing though, I said, did you thank Mama for the wonderful gift that she gave you, visually showing you herself within minutes of transitioning, that life continued, that she continued. He says, she doesn't let me forget it. And then she came in. I felt her energy. Oh my goodness.
You know, that's another, and you probably have a lot more. I'm sure you have a lot more experience and much more qualified to talk on this than me. But one of the things that I noticed, now it may have been because, you know, when I woke up and I was working with these disincarnated souls, that I was in the astral or the fourth dimension, right? Let's just say, because there's a difference between, you know, what happened later or what happens now. But one thing I noticed was that they still had this personality to them, like this uniqueness that was unique to them. Right?
Yes. Yeah. Like David told me, he said, I'm reviewing this lifetime. That was one of the things. He said, you're my better half, but I think that I would have probably said I was your better half. I mean, he was joking with me too. I mean, and this was only a little over a month after he transitioned. I was like having all I could really do to keep myself together, because I could. So
you were grieving pretty.
I was grieving too. Yeah. But
so then he pops in.
He pops in all the time.
Did it mitigate your grieving? Did it make it worse?
No, it helped. It helped. And and that's the thing, along with sessions, we can bring people that have, because no one dies. Several sessions I've had that I've brought in. One time there was a woman that her husband had transitioned and she wanted to see him again. And in that altered state, I asked her higher self, is it in right action to ask him to come in? Yes. So I said, you know, I said his name. I says, good afternoon. And he said, hello. It's always the client's talking, but it was the energy. You can tell the shifts in the energies. And they embraced. She was hugging him.
Wow.
And I'll tell you, there was such love in that room that I had you can hear my voice on the recorder, that I was, you know, so almost choked up, because the love it was like a love that we experienced once we transitioned. It really, and I
We
asked her
we
once
need to take this stuff mainstream. These
I asked her,
stories,
yeah,
you,
I asked her when she woke, when I woke her back up from, I said, did you see your husband? Yes. She says, I felt him. I felt him. I
wow,
saw him. I felt him. And we do have that. We have that ability.
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing. Of
Yeah.
course we
And
do. Yeah, of
yeah. Yeah. And
course we
also
do.
there are sometimes earthbound, like you said, earthbound people
Mm,
that will kind of, there's never anything evil. We're all
mm,
source. We're
mm.
all source. And but there are some that will kind of attach to somebody else
Yeah, but
on
you
a
know
vibration.
what? You know what I got from it. You know, and of course I don't have as much time in that department as you, but what I got from it is it works the same way as it does here. The only difference is some of the players are non-physical and some are physical. You know,
Yeah,
because if you think about it here, what happens here or what's happened? We're all waking up now, but the attachment, the vampiristic type of, codependent, toxic, and all that stuff.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's
Yeah,
interesting. It's really just another. It's the same. I mean, the same energies, not all together, but I mean, because this realm's got some unique characteristics, as Franco explained so
mm-hmm.
well. But
Yes.
but um,
Yeah.
but really, it's the same kind of deal.
Sorry.
It's about sovereignty. It's about
Yeah, yeah,
creation. It's about
yes.
love.
Right.
That type of
Yeah.
thing.
No one is ever going to attach to us that, I mean, we are sovereign, but
Yeah.
a lot of times if we're in low vibration, that kind of gives an opportunity.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
I
Well,
bring them
we
up.
actually call for it, but the human's
Yeah,
just not conscious of it.
right, right. And I'm
Yeah.
able to call them up. Just one cute little, not cute little story, but one story. A woman was having problems with swelling in an ankle, or was it could have been a man? I don't know. Anyway, the problem. One of the things was I said, "What's going on with the left ankle?" There was swelling. Um, and then between the higher self and figuring out, I said, is this a, so a lot of times we have thought forms that we create that can wreak havoc in our bodies. And we
Mm,
can, we can change those thought forms. We can't
mm,
remove them, but we can change them to something preferred. Well, this happened to be not her thought form. And I said, oh, is it something that is not of her? Yeah. So I brought it up and I said, good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's the client talking, but then shift in personality. Okay, what's your name? And he said his name. I said, what year is it for you? He told me the year. So, I mean, I've had attachments say like the year's 18 something. And
mm-hmm.
how did you lose your physical body? And
Yeah.
this one particularly said, I drowned.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, wow, isn't that neat? Not
So
neat, but isn't that synchronistic that he was causing swelling in that
yeah.
ankle?
Yeah.
And then once he realized that he was source himself, because he didn't know, he went to her light kind of thing. And I know this sounds way out there, but
Don't worry, we're all with you.
yeah. But once I said, find that pinpoint of light within your essence.
Mm,
And they always do. They always do, and make it bigger. And then they're ready to leave. They're ready to go home.
yeah.
And I work with Archangel Michael and Archangel Raphael a lot, my A team. I see them.
The A
Uh,
team,
the
the
A
real
team,
A team.
they are my A team. Yeah.
So in your experience and from your perspective, do you think that, or what's the proportionate makeup of the stuff, the shadow and the crap and the trauma, all the stuff that we've had to bring up and clear and all that? Is it ancestral? Is it from that particular soul's karmic, kind of lineage, or is it from this life? I mean, if you had to say, where's most of that coming from, for the average person that's on the earth?
Let's say all,
All of them, equal
all, yeah,
representation. Yeah.
can
Do
be.
you feel like that this incarnation, for all of those that have been like your husband and those that are still here, do you feel like it's a summary life? like a summary life of like everything packed into one life
Um,
energetically?
I truly think, and this is the
Mm.
thing that I'm getting, is that we are doing, and especially the clients that I see, we're doing life reviews while we're still in our physical bodies.
Yeah.
I know that I have, it's like, um, I think we're doing our life reviews
Mm.
while we're still in these bodies instead of transitioning out and doing the life review and then going on and doing,
Which would
I
make,
think that we're stopping
yeah.
cycles actually.
Yeah. So that would make
Clear.
sense
Yeah.
in the,
Yeah.
let's say the ascension, um, theory or whatever narrative, that would make sense that we would do that, um, because we're not going to physically transition, right?
Right. Well, we may and we may not. It depends.
Mm.
But I think truly that we are. Sorry, the pollen's starting to come out. I think that we're um, the loops that we've been in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, all of this is clearing as we go in and work with our shadow. See, and it's constant because I said, oh, since David transitioned 2 years ago, that's basically all I've done.
Can you
You know.
can you ask David if they have like a happy hour set up for us
Oh,
when we
they
first get
anything
there?
he wants, anything he wants, anything he wants.
I'm just wondering if
Since
there's gonna. I know there's a big party being planned. I can feel it.
oh yes, yes,
I'm just
yes,
wondering
yeah,
if for any of us
yeah,
that might get there early, if not by physical transition, but by location. I just thought maybe I could drop in for
yes,
a
yes.
cocktail.
And he says you can join the party anytime you want without leaving your body.
Exactly.
Yes, we can, and
Exactly.
that's
So
what's happening. Yeah.
is there anything that you want to do that you feel, that you feel resonant to do? Like, you want to do some light language? I saw you did light language singing. I'm sure you do some pretty good dancing,
Oh,
or if you channeling or mediumship, anything like
oh,
that. Is
oh,
there anything you want to share just to show off your,
oh, I don't want to show
your
off.
skills and abilities?
I think actually it's let's see. Yeah, if you don't mind, I will do a little bit. Sometimes, a lot of times when the light language comes through, I get an interpretation that comes with it. Sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm getting the interpretation way before it starts. And it's saying, let's all drop into our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Drop into our hearts.
Yeah.
Find that beautiful source light that's within every one of us. And let's make that spark bigger and brighter every day. Onchi tian takai ni and kwai. Ui chiki anatai kia ham yanakai. Oh shiki anatai kia natai. Oniai shi ia. Oh kia natai.
Mm.
Embrace yourself. Love yourself. Trust yourself. Ki ni antai chi kiantu kianai.
So it is.
Thank you. So
Thank
thank
you.
the
You
love.
are something else.
Oh.
You are one of the most illuminated, beautiful souls I have ever
Oh.
encountered. And I think a lot of pretty much every one of them that I meet, but you are absolutely, breaming with, just like
Oh.
phosphorus, like it's just glowing,
Oh,
what was
when
I
you
gonna, I
first
was going to ask you,
mhm.
damn nation, channeling, mediumship. I was going to ask you something about, I can't remember now. Damnation. Oh,
Yeah.
I know what it was. The one thing I didn't cover. Okay. Because I look at you and you got elemental written all over your face. I'm sure you have everything else too. But you remind me of Om McManus. If you ever see Om come on the show, he's like, you're looking at him. I asked him one time on the show, I said, are you kind of connected to the elementals? He looked at me like I was crazy. Like, what do you think you're looking at?
Yeah.
But yeah, you seem to have, you obviously have a strong elemental lineage or connection. Are you still communicating with the elementals? And if so, are they talking about what's going on?
Well, uh, everything's raising. Everything's raising.
Mm.
Um, I'll have to send you the picture that I took of a tree trunk. on one of my walks out here. I live at a lake, Chimo Pond, and I was walking and this tree said, hello, and I looked, and there are so many faces and elementals in this tree.
Yeah.
Even a dragon on the trunk. You can clearly see it. Yes, a few years back I was walking, and I heard, I said, oh, aren't you beautiful? Because I was looking at the trees. There were some that had one trunk, and they were like twins. I said, oh, look at the twins. And I heard, we're the standing ones. And I stopped dead in my tracks because I felt the love. And I went, oh, thank you. I honor you. And they honored me. And then I just felt a lot of fairy energy. And I'm connected to the, yeah. And we can all hear them if we just open ourselves and listen. Yeah. It's funny because when I thought you was going to say that I shifted a little bit, because one time I was talking to,
you mean shape shifted?
Yeah.
I think you have a couple of times during this broadcast.
I was talking to a sweetheart that he had just not too long had woken up, and he had a massive awakening, and we were talking for we were just talking for a couple hours, and he looked at me and he went, and I said, did I change? And he said, you did. You just changed into a light being. But I felt it, but I didn't, because I saw his face, and I said, did I just change? And he said, you did. But that's another thing too, is I remember seeing my light body during the near-death experience. I looked down, I was still me, but I was prisms of light too.
Wow.
And it was
and so like so I know it's a way of life, it's a lifestyle for you, right? Mediumship, channeling, QHHT, David coming in for coffee 3 times a day and trying to come in the bedroom at night for Harry Oscamos and all that. We don't need to know those details. No, but what I was gonna say is do you ever like if you're laying down or you're laying down on the couch or just sitting in a chair, do they ever come in, they being the you, me, we, and it, whatever faces they might be, do they ever come in and talk about stuff on a personal level or a collective level?
Well, I had one solid being when David was alive. I had one solid being come in, and I woke up and I looked, because I can see spirit. A lot of people, everybody can, but there are a few times that I've seen solid, I can't see through this. So I woke up and I looked, and there was leaning over the bed, had sharp features, but smiling at me. And it had to have been tall, because when I looked, it was like where David's nightstand was. So I woke up and I went, And I looked around the room to see if I was awake, because I said, there's a solid person in my room. So I looked around, I said, yeah, there's that and there's that. And I looked and they were still there. And then it jumped me and I went, Jesus, David. Jumped David up. He woke up. What'd you say? I said, there was someone standing right there. And from what I gather, they were just checking on me, checking to make sure I was doing okay. I think during the time before I had the near-death experience, I had a lot of help from my team coming in because of the medications that I was taking. Yeah,
keeping you straight.
So I wouldn't accidentally off myself.
So
I've listened to channels, and there was one girl that was talking to a collective. Actually, it was the Palladian Security Council. And I'm listening to this and I'm lighting up all over. And I said, you're over my house right now, aren't you? And I heard, we're sitting right on your couch. I looked over there, and in my honesty, I looked, they're just sitting right there smiling at me. I went, oh my goodness. And then I said, and David will even say this response, I said, oh, could you show me some orbs or sparkles? And okay, you want to see some parlor tricks is what you want. David will say, oh, you want some parlor tricks.
How long were you and David together? Well, how long was until he transitioned?
43 years.
How long?
43 years.
43. Did he know he was marrying Samantha from Bewitched when y'all got married?
No. He married me, and the two kids. I was married when I was 16.
Yeah.
And he took us, all three of us, on, and he was just.
Did he ever feel like Darren? You know,
I don't know. He didn't question. You know,
he didn't
that's
question.
the thing. He didn't.
Yeah.
He really didn't. There were times that I was seeing. I thought I was ready at one point when I had this was before I had the experience. I thought I was ready to start seeing things, and I was starting to see things. And then I said, no, I'm not ready yet. I wasn't ready yet. And I could always talk to David. He was always an encourager. I'm not saying everything was a bed of roses, because it was, our life, and we did the best we could do. And that's the thing.
Man, Earth isn't an easy school, man. There's no apologies or explanations are needed on this planet.
No, and we do the
best.
The
fact that you showed up is,
yeah. And it's a privilege to be here. I know
absolutely that. It is. It's an honor to be here, and we all earned it.
Yeah, and we do the best that we can do with what we know at the time. And I think that's where we really need to forgive ourselves and everyone else, because we're all, like Franco says, all playing our roles.
That's right.
And it's all divine. It really is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's him and Kimberly are doing an incredible service.
So deeply.
Yeah, they're
grateful.
Yeah. Franco's my hero.
Oh yes, mine too.
He's my hero. I don't know why. He's just like, he's just as too legit to quit, like MC Hammer used to say.
Yes.
He's just super legit. And so let me just say a couple things real quick. I don't usually do this, but we're talking about Franco and Kimberly. If you guys don't know him, Advancing Consciousness Facebook group and page, or one or the other, and on YouTube under the same name. And he's putting this, they're putting this incredible series together for free. So if you can support him in any way, please do. And tonight at 8:00 Eastern, Morgan and I are going to be on K Moon YouTube live, and it's a really interesting lady. She's got a nice YouTube channel. We did a show with her and some other couples, but it should be a pretty interesting, a good way to integrate audiences. And so we thought we'd invite you. Terry, you are, now that you popped your cherry, sorry, but I hope David got a kick out of that. But now that you popped your cherry, we have to do this again. The world needs to be, that needs to be exposed to you. And I just want to say, I really meant what I said. You're one of the most beautiful souls I've ever met. And,
the minute you started doing lives on Facebook, I think, was it 2014 or 2015?
2015.
Yes. Yeah. I was drawn to you.
Wow.
And that's when you were rapping and you were just
dancing. Oh yeah, with no shirt on, and
and I said, there's something about this soul that I know. I just and I just thank you and Morgan for what you're doing. There have been times that, like, we go through all these things and we work through our processes and face our shadows, and there are days that and then during the grief time too, there were days that watching your programs, watching your saved me. They were my lifeline. They really were. And I am in such gratitude, and I love you both so much.
That's sweet. That's sweet. I don't know what to say to that, but thank you. I love you. I love you very much, and love everybody out there. And Terry, we got to do it again in a couple of months. We got to get you.
I love you so much.
Yeah, I love you too. Take care. And see you later, David. Take care.
Yeah. He's
See you at the happy hour.
Yeah, he'll be there.
Bye, Terry. I love you.